What's up, everybody? Today I'm going to be doing a chapter review of One Piece 1099. This is going to be a summary and speculation video of the chapter. Next week we have 1100, so I'm going to be doing some speculation on what that might be and what some of the stuff going on in the chapter might entail for later in the story. But it opens up with King Bakori burning down the town because of what they did in the Goa Kingdom, where Luffy, Sabo, and Ace lived, and how they burned the Grey Terminal to appease the Celestial Dragons. So King Bakori has this desire to be approved by them, and him thinking doing this will allow for them to see him in a better way and get more recognition for him. So Kuma realizes that he's burning the town, the second half, and all of the old people in it. So he pretty much goes up to the castle and blows it up with his pawpaw fruit. And this event causes King Bakori to flee and is then known as the one-man revolution because Kuma did this all on his own. So Kuma then goes back to the church, and they see Bonnie running around the church, but she's grown up to how she is now in the story. And people are just like, who is this woman? And why are the people in the church old now? And they all have different ages. So Bonnie just got her devil fruit while this revolution was going on. It doesn't say anywhere in the chapter how, and I don't think it's going to until later in the story, because at this moment for Kuma's backstory it's not really important, and I think the backstory's probably going to end next chapter, like probably 2/3 or halfway through. We're going to cut back to present time. So I think that's going to be probably around where Blackbeard talks about devil fruits, about how he got two. Bonnie might say something about how her fruit reincarnated. Then, let's see. Kuma is then talking with Bulldog, the king who was before King Bakori. So 2 kings ago. And they make Kuma the new king, but Bulldog agrees that he is going to work and do all of the responsibilities as a king, but Kuma will just be the face of the kingdom. Then the world government publishes a news article, probably by Big News Morgan, and it says that Kuma is a tyrant now in the Sorbet Kingdom, and Bakori's basically defacing his name because of the revolution and him losing the kingdom for a second time. So Bakori plans to go back with a fleet, and he eventually does that. And then Kuma takes him out and the entire fleet, and Bakori is then gone for the rest of the chapter. Hopefully he's gone for good. After this, Kuma's bounty gets increased and he's more notable. It's probably around his bounty for when he became a warlord, because of what we'll get later to in the chapter. I believe next chapter he'll become the warlord. So then Kuma goes out to sea to try and find a cure for Bonnie, because now he's like, I can't stay here. I'm a danger to all of you because my bounty increased. The world government's looking for me for what I did to King Bakori. And he goes to all of the different islands looking for a cure for Bonnie's sapphire scale that he would later send the Straw Hats to, every one of them. And this is interesting because some of the islands I don't see why he would go to. Like, for example, the island where he sent Zoro, where Mihawk lives, or the bridge, I forget the name, where he sent Robin to join the revolutionaries. I don't know why he would go to those places, because at the time the revolutionaries weren't there at the bridge. But he went there looking for a cure for Bonnie, so that's interesting. And he ends up meeting with Dragon, who tells him about Vegapunk. And while this is going on, Bello Betty asks, can I become the commander of the East Division? Because we know that was Ginny's old job in the Revolutionary Army, and Kuma left the Revolutionary, so this decision's not really up to him, but it's more of a thing of respect, seeing how him and Ginny were so close. She wants his approval that she could take Ginny's old job. So that's basically how Bello Betty got to become the commander of the East Blue in the Revolutionary Army. So when he meets with Dragon, Dragon basically tells him, look, Kuma, Vegapunk is a scientist who could probably cure this disease. The only problem is he's on Punk Hazard. But he's moving islands to Egghead, where he currently is now. And that's because Caesar Clown blew up the island and pretty much destroyed all of Punk Hazard and the other research facilities besides the one, the winter portion that we see on Punk Hazard. So he's like, look, Kuma, you have to take Bonnie and go see Vegapunk now because there's not a lot of security. He just got there. Now is the time to go talk to him. So Kuma's like, bet. And he takes Bonnie and he goes to Egghead and meets Vegapunk. Simple as that. There was no conflict. He just meets him. And then he tells Vegapunk about the Sapphire Scale disease. And Vegapunk's like, yeah, I could cure that. But by chance, are you a buccaneer? And Kuma's like, yeah, why? He's like, I need to clone you because I want to make these guardians of sort that will pretty much give peace to the world by moderating it better than the Marines could, because they will have a perfect sense of justice in every means of the word. So Kuma's like, yeah, just that for you to cure my daughter of Sapphire Scale? And he's like, yeah, because if you could help me with that, I see that as a just action for me to do this. And so he says he's going to cure Bonnie by stem cell research, which could kind of sound like cloning. So I know that was a big theory of how she's going to get cured, but I think they're just going to use parts of the clone to change her cells. And so then it goes to the end of the chapter, and St. J. Garcia is basically like, I'm going to go to Vegapunk to help with this cloning effort to make the pacifistas, as Kuma later calls them. So Kuma came up with the name because he says, I'm just a humble pacifista in the last panel. So he came up with the name. So St. J. Garcia is basically starting to go to Egghead, and that's where the chapter ends. It's time for some speculation. I think definitely next chapter, St. J. Garcia is going to take full advantage of Kuma. It is not going to be that easy to have him cure Bonnie because of what he did to King Bakori. I think that they want to get rid of his memories to make him more pure as they would see him. Because right now they just see him as a tyrant, a filthy pirate because of Bakori's lies. In the way that the government actually views the actions Bakori did, they view those in a good way, where morally it's unjust, but their morals are completely spewed and corrupted. So St. J. Garcia is going to be like, I need to get rid of your memories so you are morally pure. I think St. J. Garcia isn't doing this really in a bad way. I think his morals are just corrupted and skewed. I think he doesn't really... He's been in the same way for so long that he thinks what he's doing here is the right thing to do for control and power. The more and more I talk about it, the more and more it sounds bad, but I just think his morals are so different from everybody else that it seems right to him. I think Bonnie's gonna get cured fine by Vegapunk, and then she's probably gonna go back to Sorbet. And then when she goes back to Sorbet, I think we'll cut back to present time where St. J. Garcia is choking Bonnie. And then I think something big has to happen for her to get saved. Because we know Luffy's knocked out. Luffy's not knocked out, but I think he's passed out because of using Gear 6 against Kizaru. So I really don't know who's going to save them. We know Dragon appeared in episode 1000, I believe. Or no, episode 100. Not episode, but chapter 100, Dragon appeared. So with this revolutionary backstory, it's not super unlikely that Dragon would appear in Luffy's knocked out so he wouldn't see Dragon. So this would be a perfect time to have him come and save the day. And then maybe Kuma could get his memories back in the chapter after this. But we have a chapter coming out next week, so definitely expect a video on that. Because I think 1100 is going to be crazy, to say the least. Let's see what else. I think King Bakori is he's gone. I don't know if he's dead or not, but he's no longer relevant to the story. Something else to mention, Bonnie modeled her old lady after King Bulldog's mom, which I thought was very interesting. So her forms are pretty much taken after what she looked like as a kid, so her actual age, because we know she's 12 years old in the story right now after time skip because she went out to sea when she was 10. So I think that's pretty much covering everything. I think, yeah. If you guys like the video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. It'll really help. I'm planning on coming out with a 1100 episode of this series next week, summary and speculation. If you guys have any other theories or ideas or things that I missed in the chapter, make sure to leave those down in the comments. And that'll be it. See ya.